Chapter 11. You are listening at novelfold.audio. Chapter 10. Here comes the moth, the source of the program, and a group of high-level football associations sat in the stands. In addition to the few local Malaga fans who came to watch the youth team game in Malaga, this game was the exception. There are not many fans in Longwa, they are all local Chinese. Instead, many reporters came. In the press box, the sharp-eyed reporters saw Ye Luo on the football field at a glance. Oh, isn't that Dragon Kingdom Beckham Ye Luo? He actually joined Malaga U18. I thought he was finished in domestic football, but I didn't expect it. There is no unparalleled road. It's not bad to be able to play abroad, but it's a pity. With his strength, he should be able to play the main force in the Super League in 2 years. This is an opportunity to make a lot of money, so I just missed it. What a pity. Still too young. Reporters chattered. With the Changzhou Hengtai team in the Super League opened the big coin mode, the transfer value and salary level of Longwa players in the Super League have skyrocketed as if they were on a rocket. With the strength of the international players of the Dragon Country national team, most of them can't play the main force in the second division. What is the salary level of West second division players? The main force can have an annual salary of €50, which is considered to be at the top of the list, and in the country of Dragon, the annual salary of 800 million yuan for the national football team is the starting price. Follow current trends. In the future, the annual salary of an international footballer may be 3,000 million. So in the eyes of these reporters, this opportunity to make a fortune that Longwa Beckham missed, isn't it just too young? The pattern Tucson is broken. Sitting in the center of the rostrum, program Yuan could also vaguely hear the discussions of the Longwa reporters just below the rostrum. There was a slight smile on his face, as if he had a plan in mind, but he didn't take Ye Luo too seriously in his heart. It's just a little guy who can't reach it, just dismiss it. So what if you can play abroad? Malaga is only a relegation team in La Liga, and it's just Malaga's U18 youth team. If he can play in the first team of Malaga, he will be the only seedling of Dragon Country football who is currently studying abroad in the 5 major European leagues. Then the source of the program will be a little worried. Just U18s. Whether he can play in the professional league in the future is a matter of opinion, so nothing to worry about. The camera gave the source of the program, on the TV screen of the sports channel of Longwa National TV station. The close-up of the general manager of the Dragon Country Football Association wearing a pink-striped polo appeared in front of all the Dragon Country fans who were watching the live broadcast in front of the TV. At the same time, the voice of Lu Jianhong, the Queen commentator who commented on the national football game on the sports channel, also reached the ears of all the fans through the TV. Hello, viewers and friends in front of the TV. This is the Maraca Cup Youth Invitational Match live broadcast for you by the National TV Sports Channel. The opponents are the Dragon National Olympic Team and the Malaga Youth Team. As you can see, Program Yuan, General Manager of the Football Association, also came to the scene to supervise the battle. This is part of the Olympic team's training series in Europe. Playing against the youth teams of major European clubs will allow the players of the Olympic team to feel the advanced football tactics in Europe. Lu Jinhong's voice was eloquent and chattering endlessly. It made many fans frown. The commentator's bitter commentary style is really unpleasant, and right now. Players from both sides have appeared in the player channel. The players of Longwa Guao all turned their heads to look at Ye Luo, who was standing last in the Malaga youth team queue. There may be surprise, envy, or disdain in the eyes, but no one went up to talk to Ye Luo, although it is said that Ye Luo has a bad relationship with the Olympic team except for a few players. In fact, he has no conflicts with most of the Olympic players. We get along well as usual, but because Ye Luo offended Li Tai, the Olympic players didn't dare to talk to Ye Luo at this time. Of course, Ye Luo didn't take the initiative to say hello to his former Olympic teammates. This game is a battle in his mind, a battle to justify your name. Players from both sides are coming out of the player tunnel. It is worth mentioning that among the starters of the Malaga U18 youth team, their number 7 player is Ye Luo, a former Olympic player. As the TV camera locked onto Ye Luo's face, on the internet, the fans are blown away. Fuck. It's him. Didn't it mean that this kid was fired for being unorganized and undisciplined? It's just being expelled from the Olympic Games, not a global ban. What's going on now? The return of the king. The king is a jerk, this kid dares to contradict the coach. And he doesn't have any sense of national honor. Dare to make so many moths while fighting for the country, dogs are rare. Deserves to be fired. But to be able to join the Malaga youth team, don't you have some skills? Fans on the internet have different opinions. A small number of sympathizers spoke for Ye Luo, but most of the fans are angry. After all, people follow the crowd. Under the guidance of the media, Ye Luo has become heinous, and how could he be forgiven just because he joined the Malaga youth team? Ye Luo walked into the field with the players. His eyes looked in the direction of the rostrum. Okay, even the source of the program came to watch the battle. I'm sorry for the scene if I don't make a big deal this time. Li Tai and his assistant Guo Tao stood on the sidelines. No accidents, right? My right eyelid keeps twitching. Guo Tao felt a little restless. This is broadcast live nationwide. If something goes wrong, how can it end? Li Tai was actually a little apprehensive, but he wasn't too scared. What kind of trouble can Ye Luo make? Expose and report him for receiving red envelopes? This is a football game, it's not a focus interview. Chance he can speak. And on the football field, strength speaks for itself. If you behave badly, no one believed anything. Don't worry, I've checked. It's been less than a week since this kid joined the Malaga youth team. His teammates probably don't recognize him completely. How can he perform well? Guo Tao also nodded when he heard the words, football is an 11-man game. They don't even recognize their teammates, so what about tacit understanding and teamwork? Just when the two were talking, on the field, the referee has already blown the whistle to start the game. Good audience friends, with the whistle of the referee, the game officially started, and the Malaga team took the lead to kick off. The football moved directly to the left, and it reached Ye Luo's feet. Lu Jianhong, whose voice was still very calm, suddenly roared, instantly woke up all the fans who were a little drowsy by his Tang Monk-style commentary, only seen on the TV screen. Ye Luo relaxed and freehand the long pass from the right to stop at his feet. A nice stop. It was too late for everyone to admire. I saw Ye Luo flick the ball suddenly with the instep of his right foot, then flicked his ankle, flicked the ball, and dunked the ball. Ox tail. The football passed between the two defenders, and Ye Luo's figure suddenly slipped past them before they closed the door. Oxtail is amazing. Ye Luo. In Lu Jianhong's exclamation, Ye Luo dribbled the ball and cut to the middle, subsequently, right foot volley. Boom. End of this chapter. Chapter 12. He shocked the whole country at this moment. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 12. At this moment, he shocked the whole country. Chapter 11. At this moment, he shocked the whole country. Boom. The huge sound made the eyes of the people on the scene look at the venue. The football soared into the air, and the non-rotating football drew a strange arc in the air. The goalkeeper of the Olympic team couldn't react at all, and just watched the football fly into the net from the other side of his center of gravity. This ball is beautiful, Lu Jianhong exclaimed. Stop the ball, go over the top with the oxtail, cut inside and shoot. All done in one go. Beautiful, this is the voice of everyone. This ball is indeed quite beautiful, and now the game started less than 30 seconds, the ball went in. This made the faces of the Olympic players on the field look blank, especially the two players who were passed by. Ye Luo looked at each other, seeing horror and disbelief in their eyes. They have already gone up to close the door. Normally, they should stop the ball to check the situation, and then return a kick, not asking for nothing but nothing. Who would have thought that Ye Luo would be so adventurous, so bold, and with such good footwork? In this way, the two of them became Ye Luo's background board. At the same time, there was Li Tai who was furious. Li Tai was furious like never before. Before playing, he emphasized that he must pay attention to defending Ye Luo. No matter what the situation, at least two players should be posted to defend. The results of it. As a result, Ye Luo scored a goal just after the game started, and it was such a beautiful goal. I'm CNM, can you two kick it? Don't kick me down. How did this ball let him pass? TMD, when Li Tai was cursing, the fans on the field were shocked. This is true whether it is a fan of Malaga or a fan of the Dragon Kingdom and the Olympic Games. In fact, Many of them have not yet integrated into the game from the relaxed atmosphere at the beginning of the game. Many people are still looking for seats, and many people are still chatting with the people next to them. They did not expect the goal to be scored, but in the stands, in an inconspicuous corner, Malaga club coach Pellegrini and his assistant Molosca could see clearly. Very good sense of the ball, stopping the ball perfectly, and full of adventurous spirit. I even saw the shadow of Ronaldinho in that oxtail, Molosca exclaimed. Pellegrini nodded. It seems that Bruno is right, he is indeed good enough to play for the first team. Is it just playing? Just him. Maybe we can consider giving Mourinho a surprise in the next game. Molosca said, facing an opponent like Real Madrid, confront a wounded beast. To be honest, if you don't seek a little change, Malaga has no chance at all. He's too young. Pellegrini frowned slightly. He didn't want Yellow to make his debut in an environment like the one at the Bernabeu. No doubt, in Pellegrini's heart, with just this ball, Yellow already has a place in his team. Ye Luo is a genius, Pellegrini is sure of this, but the use of talented young players must also be quite cautious. If we talk about the youth training camp, the competition of the youth team is a small stream. Then the La Liga arena is a rough ocean, a fish that can swim freely on a small stream is suddenly released into a rough sea. If one is not careful, it may be killed by a huge wave on the shore. Every year, how many talented players from the youth academy make their debut in La Liga, and then gradually disappeared? Youth academy is one thing, La Liga is another. It is hard to say whether a youth academy talent can adapt to La Liga. Just when Pellegrini was thinking, on the court, Ye Luo, who scored a goal, rejected the cheering teammates who wanted to come up to celebrate together. He ran all the way, towards the coach bench on the sidelines. What is he going to do? There is such a question mark in almost everyone's mind. On the TV screen, the camera's lens also locked on the goal hero. After Ye Luo scored the goal, he ran all the way to the coach's bench. Could it be that he wanted to thank the head coach? Lu Jianhong's expression changed as soon as he finished speaking, because he found that Ye Luo was running towards the coaching bench of the Olympic team. He was expelled from the Olympic Games. Moreover, Lu Jianhong is the national football queen commentator of the national TV station. He knew a little about the inside story of Ye Luo's expulsion from the Olympic team. He also knows more or less some unspoken rules of national teams at all levels. Therefore, he would never think that Ye Luo was going to thank Li Tai. Then what was he going to do? Next moment, Lu Jianhong's eyes widened, his whole body was shaken. His body suddenly leaned forward, his arm accidentally swiped the information on the desktop, and then all of them fell to the ground, and the audience who were watching the live TV broadcast could clearly hear the information landing. Voice, this is usually a live broadcast accident, and wages are deducted, but now no one cares about this, because compared with the live broadcast accident, what happened on the TV screen is shocking. Under the lens of the camera, Ye Luo ran to Li Tai, the coach of the Olympic team, and stood still. Then the jersey was lifted to reveal the white vest inside. On the front of the vest is a row of words written with a marker. Director Li, you get out by strength, not red envelopes. In front of the boy standing straight, Li Tai was trembling all over. He was so shocked, he had never seen such a bold and unscrupulous Longwa player. Does he know what he is doing? This is a live broadcast. Facing the national live broadcast. He made a fuss. Where should I put my face? This kid is so fucking thorny. Li Tai's slightly trembling hands could be seen by everyone, and his dodging eyes and flustered expression were also shown on the TV screen. Behind him, it was a member of the coaching staff who was too shocked to say a word. They never expected that there are players from Longwa who would dare to do such a thing. After he makes such a fuss, all domestic teams will know who this guy is in the future. This kind of eyes can't rub the sand, and they are so bold and reckless. Which domestic team can use it? Which team dares to use it? There is nothing shameful about any domestic club who dares to use a guy who is so brave. He didn't just slap Li Tai in the face. What he played was the job of everyone in the domestic football circle. No one will use him anymore. This kid is completely finished, and he will never be able to return to the domestic football circle. On the bench, the Olympic players opened their mouths wide open. There was a bit of admiration in the shocked expression. At this moment, with the sideline of the stadium as the dividing line, between Ye Luo and Li Tai, the entire stadium, all the fans watching the game, all were shocked beyond words. End of this chapter. Chapter 13 Slap a Big Mouth. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 13 A Big Slap. Chapter 12, Pop, Snapped. Fuck. This. Red envelope. Is there something hidden about being fired? You have to give red envelopes to play, it's an old tradition. On the internet, Dragon Country fans are talking about it. The negative public opinion on Ye Luo, which was originally one-sided, was also reversed at this moment because of this ball. Because this goal is really beautiful, he stopped the ball smartly, with a flick of the bull's tail, he passed two people, and then directly cut in and shot with his right foot. Completed a very beautiful lift ball shot. Such a personal performance, no matter how demanding the audience will be conquered. Ye Luo stood in front of Li Tai, there was a sneer on the corner of his mouth, he believed that the picture just now had spread all over the country. Do you want me to coax you with a low eyebrow and pleasing eyes before you can kick the ball? No way. I just want to expose your nasty things, can't get out. I just want to look like a human being. When I become the world's #1 football star in the future, what can you monsters do to me? He stared at Li Tai, the boy's banter made the Dragon Country football star feel stinging, his eyes looked away, but he could feel that the eyes of the whole world seemed to be focused on him. This made him a little at a loss. What a joke, in front of a less than teenager. Li Tai, who was once full of passion, once wandered in England, was once a passionate young man, but now he dare not look at the other party squarely. This made Li Tai sting. He became more and more angry, but nowhere to vent. Fortunately, Ye Luo sneered and walked away. After putting down his jersey, he ran to the stands again. In the press box, the reporters also reflected at this time. This kid is really too bold. What is he going to do? Before everyone had time to digest what had just happened, they saw Ye Luo running under the stands and in front of the group of Longwa Football Association sitting in the middle of the low stands. Then raise your hand, snapped. Made a slap gesture. Is this slapping the FA? Is this a slap in the face of the general manager of the FA? At the reporter's seat, Program Yuan's face was extremely livid. Smashed, fuck it. Totally messed up. Imagine, tomorrow. Do not. It's now. This scene will explode in domestic public opinion, everyone on the internet will spread the word widely, the news will become a national hit, and the Football Association, the Longwa Football Association can only threaten some football media, such as those media that mainly rely on interviews and write news about the national football team and the Chinese Super League, to threaten to cancel their field interview rights and make them obedient, but they can only go so far. So many national media, don't talk about newspapers and TV, these are fine, after all, although the Dragon Country Football Association is a non-governmental organization in name, but in fact, it is a set of two brands with the Football Management Center of the National Sports Federation. So, official matters, if the Football Association greets them, it can cover up a little bit, but what year is it now? Now is the internet age, all kinds of large and small online media. Can the FA manage this? This. An official of the Football Association next to Program Yuan pointed to the field, his fingers were trembling, and nothing came out of it for a long time. It's outrageous. On the other side, an official scolded angrily. It's a shame for the country. No organization and no discipline. Who promoted such a thorny head? Pursue it, you must investigate it. A group of bureaucrats were outraged, but they threatened for a long time, but they didn't know how to deal with this situation. If Ye Luo is determined not to mess around in China, they really have nothing to do. At this time, the domestic internet has already been fried, the attention of this youth team game has skyrocketed, major football forums, Q groups, etc. The video of the goal, the slogan of Ye Luo, the picture of the face being slapped, while shocking the fans, it also instantly refreshed the fans to the extreme. Ye Luo has also changed from a public enemy to a hero who vents his anger on the fans. Why? Because the fans know it. Longwa football has fallen to this point, the culprit, not one or two players. Scolding the players is just hating the house and the black, the real fundamental reason, or the FA, still those managers sitting in high positions. They are the ones who should be responsible for the status quo of Dragon Country football in decline and degeneration. Ye Luo slapped, not just hit the FA in the face, it also hit the psychology of the fans. Well played. Hit second. The Football Association has made a big deal. The Football Association, I am Chow Nima, that for a while, on the internet, fans have vented, at the scene, there were even fans of the Dragon Kingdom and the Olympic Games applauding Ye Luo. Well done Ye Luo. Play abroad. Don't go back. Come on. Come on. In the stands, the fans who came to the scene to cheer for the Olympic team turned their backs, they all cheered for Ye Luo. When returning to the stadium, Ye Luo also raised his hands and applauded, thanking the fans for their support. The few spectators were all applauding for this young man. What a boy with personality. Pellegrini saw all this in his eyes. Although he didn't know what happened, anyone could see the conflict between Ye Luo and the coaching staff of Longguogua Ao come out. A player, can he be considered a star without any personality? But this at least proves that our young man's psychological quality is not bad, he is very bold. Moloskau laughed. It's the general manager of the Dragon National Football Association. Pellegrini glanced at the stand where the program source was, and then continued to stare at the pitch. He is now more and more interested in Ye Luo. A oxtail made a pass, and an inside cut shot. Then, what other weapons do you have? Just show it. Just like the progress bar in the game, this goal, the progress bar in Pellegrini's heart has been greatly improved, but the distance promoted Ye Luo to play in the first team. That's not far off. Of course Ye Luo knew it too. In fact, the slap in the face of the FA in this game was just a matter of convenience. For him personally, he has to show enough strength in this game, impress Pellegrini. Under the excitement, Ye Luo could also clearly feel that his strength was indeed much stronger than before. Stopping, passing and shooting are all better, and the key is that his shot selection is also very accurate. He is not only active on the left side, but also often runs to the center and right side to make demands. His ability with the ball tormented the Olympic defenders who wanted to apply for a replacement immediately. He is constantly catching the ball, dribbling, passing the ball, looking for opportunities to shoot. After the game resumed, the focus of the audience, it's all on Ye Luo's body. He's the brightest player on the court right now. Anyone with eyes can see it. His level, it is more than one grade higher than everyone on the court now. End of this chapter. Chapter 14 Pendulum. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Here we go again. This game is very unlucky and Ye Luo is facing right back Zhang Linping, who was once selected for the national team and broke the transfer record of a domestic player from the Shanghai East Asia team to the Changzhou Hengtai team with a transfer worth of 600 million renminbi. In domestic football, Zhang Linping, who is 21 years old this year, is considered a capable player. Otherwise, he wouldn't be favored by the local tycoon team Hengtai. This season's Chinese Super League has ended, and Zhang Linping won the Super League championship this season with Changzhou Hengtai team. At the age of 21, Zhang Linping won the best rookie in the Super League this season and was selected as the best team in the Super League this season. It can be said that it has been a bumper year for the young right back, although it is often criticized for the defects of position selection and poor sense of position. However, with his physical fitness comparable to that of foreign aide, Zhang Linping, who has excellent confrontation ability and explosive power, can often defend and restrict opponents with many foreign aides in the Chinese Super League. His performance has even attracted the attention of many foreign clubs. Unfortunately, now that the value of domestic football players is inflated, it is impossible for foreign clubs to pay too much transfer fee to bring in a Dragon Country player. Of course, Changzhou Hengtai can't send players to study abroad at a disadvantage. Such a capable player, in this game, facing Ye Luo, who was more than 3 years younger than him, Zhang Linping has withstood the biggest test since his career. The strength of this former Olympic teammate made Zhang Linping feel out of breath after playing for 15 minutes, and his physical fitness was almost at the limit. When Ye Luo got the ball on the left again, Zhang Linping had no choice but to bite the bullet and meet him. At the same time, he immediately called his teammates over to help defend. The teammates who came to help defend are also capable. There is Xing Zhen, a player from Lu province who played the right midfielder in this game, and Wu Qian, the midfielder who will be the future captain of the national football team. Behind them is the tall central defender Mei Fong. they are the backbone of the national team in the future. At this time, Zhang Linpeng and Zheng Zhen posted up one after the other. Wu Qian dragged back to help defend, and Mei Fong firmly guarded the penalty area. It seems that there is no flaw at all, but at this time, the eyes of the fans in front of the TV were full of anticipation, looking forward to Ye Luo's performance like a magician, because similar scenes have appeared many times in the first 15 minutes of the game. Here it comes again. Ye Luo holds the ball and faces multiple teams. What kind of skills will he show this time? Lu Jianhong couldn't help shouting. It stands to reason that as a commentator of the Dragon Kingdom, he should naturally stand on the side of the Dragon Kingdom and the Olympics, but in this game, he cheered for Ye Luo without any scruples, because on the one hand, of course, it is because Ye Luo is a player from Longhua. Second, it's because Ye Luo's performance is indeed worthy of people's hats off. Under the eyes of all expectations, Ye Luo fiddled with the football with his right foot. The football is brilliant under his feet, which is pleasing to the eye. This is the best Longhua player I have ever seen. Seeing this, Lu Jianhong couldn't help but sigh with emotion. Under the lens, Ye Luo didn't watch the game, and his feet were like brushes in the hands of a master calligrapher, splashing ink wantonly. I saw him suddenly stop, like a sudden change in rhythm in a symphony. The right foot flicks and dunks, and the left foot dunks the ball to the other side. And the moment when Zhang Linpeng and Zheng Zhen had to dance with the two consecutive spikes, and the center of gravity leaned to the left, Ye Luo's center of gravity then turned to the right. He easily hooked the ball with his right foot, and kicked hard with his left foot. His body was like an arrow off the string. Had a clean. During the process of adjusting their center of gravity, the two slipped their feet and fell backwards, completely losing their defensive position. Wu Qian, who was assisting in the defense from the rear, had no choice but to rush up quickly and made a desperate defense sliding shovel. It's a one-shot deal. Either succeed in keeping Ye Luo, either let Ye Luo face the defense directly. Wu Qian had to, because he has no other defensive options. He can't keep up with the speed, and he can't keep up with the rhythm. The only way he can use now is to foul. Be careful. Amidst the exclamation of Lu Jianhong and the fans, Ye Luo seemed to have eyes in the back of his head. Suddenly a sudden stop. Wu Qian could only watch helplessly as her body swiped past Ye Luo, without touching anything. Her body slipped out of the field under the effect of inertia, but when he looked back, Ye Luo had dribbled the ball into the penalty area. Mei Fong, who was 1.9 meters tall, was like a wooden stake in front of Ye Luo, giving up his center of gravity with a fake move. Fortunately, Wang Dalei, the main goalkeeper of the Olympic team, had already attacked in time and quickly rushed to Ye Luo. Ye Luo. Places. There are 4 people in a row, and now the one standing in front of him is Wang Dalei. Lu Jianhong is too contradictory now. Ye Luo passed 4 defensive players in a row and faced the goalkeeper single-handedly, but if he hits the ball, the Olympic team will fall behind by 2 goals, and at the same time, it may become the background board of a wonderful goal. Not only Lu Jianhong was conflicted, but also the fans of Longhua who were watching the game. He usually scolds fiercely, and after losing, he swears that he will be a dog when he watches the national football team again. But when it was time for the game, I secretly turned on the elevator. No, I secretly turned on the TV, seeing that the National Olympics is about to be scored again. I am ready to scold in my heart, but now the player who scored the goal is also a player from Longhua. I really don't know what to do. But now Wang Dalei didn't think so much. His attack speed is very fast, which is his advantage. He once received training at Inter Milan, and there were even rumors that Inter Milan was planning to keep this Dragon Country player. Although Wang Dalei returned to China in the end, the Longhua players who can have a little scandal with Inter Milan still have a little bit of strength. At least his current position selection and closing single-handed posture are very standard. It blocked Ye Luo's possible routes to the maximum extent. He even deliberately exposed the position above his head, preparing to lure Ye Luo to shoot. This is Wang Dalei's trick. His jumping is very good, his physical condition is very good. He is sure to throw the ball up suddenly when Ye Luo picks it up. One-handed ball. It is a battle of wits between the goalkeeper and the striker, between lightning and flint. Ye Luo has brought the ball in front of Wang Dalei. Wang Dalei breathed a sigh of relief. The closer he is to the opponent, the smaller the angle of the opponent's shot, and the higher the success rate of the save. Just now, Ye Luo's left shoulder suddenly sank, Wang Dalei immediately made a judgment and made a fake move. Ye Luo's main foot is his right foot, so he must be more confident in breaking through to the right. Wang Dalei immediately prepared to move to the right. Just now, Ye Luo really leaned to the right. It worked. Wang Dalei was overjoyed. But the next second, joy froze on his face. In his incredible eyes, Ye Luo seemed to have tilted completely to the right, and the center of gravity suddenly moved to the left. With a light dunk of the ball with his right foot, Ye Luo's body roared past Wang Dalei. It was impossible for Wang Dalei to adjust his center of gravity. His upper body was about to move to his right. But Ye Luo jumped to the left after breaking through, but his lower body went to the other side under the action of gravity and inertia. Such a result is, his body seemed to be frozen, motionless, but he could only watch helplessly as Ye Luo pushed the ball into the empty goal with his relaxed left foot. 2 words came to mind: pendulum. End of this chapter. Chapter 15. Don't do anything, just fall and roar. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 14. Do nothing, just fall. Yellow. Yell yellow. Oh oh. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. My God. In the rear defense studio, Lu Jianhong put his head in his hands. The almost instinctive exclamation brought a better explanation effect. In front of the TV, almost all the fans couldn't help exclaiming, "What is that?" Pendulum 1. Perhaps the signature of Ronaldo, the most talented striker of all time. Now it is actually reappeared by a Dragon Country player. This is an extraordinary pendulum. Ye Luo's center of gravity swayed continuously in less than a second. His sense of balance is unbelievable. Wang Dalei can't stop Ye Luo's goal at all. Honestly speaking, although the Olympic team fell behind 0-2, I am not depressed at all. I am very excited, because I have seen the emergence of a talented player belonging to the Dragon Kingdom. His strength is 10 times stronger than all the current active national players. He is the hope of our Dragon Country football. Lu Jianhong was so excited that he couldn't choose what to say. Outside the studio, the director gestured anxiously. What a joke. Ye Luo was criticized and expelled from the Olympic team by the Football Association a few days ago. Looking back, the commentator of the national television sports channel dared to praise Ye Luo so much. Isn't this deliberately playing the opposite role and destroying unity? Seeing this, Lu Jianhong also knew that she was too excited, but he has no regrets, because he saw the rise of a genius. This is definitely the hope of Dragon Country football. The premise is that he can reconcile with the Dragon Country Football Association. Did you see clearly? Pellegrini, who was sitting in his seat, stood up with a bang, and looked at his assistant, Maloska, with a trembling voice. In less than a second, the center of gravity changed 3 times in a row. It's incredible. This is Ronaldo Jr. Maloska exclaimed. Maybe he can become our secret weapon. Pellegrini cheered. Are you going to send him to play at the Bernabeu? Will it be a little early? Maloska frowned. No, how could it be so early? He is an absolute genius. Pellegrini said, pointing to Ye Luo. His position selection and shooting on the wing, his speed, his ball handling advancement, and his sense of the ball are all top-notch in his age group. And he has too many characteristics. Pellegrini marveled. Of course, this is a player with 30% of the 3-peak Ronaldo's push and breakthrough ability, 30% of the 3-peak Ronaldinho's ball feel, and 30% of the 3-peak Cristiano Ronaldo's shooting ability. Although everything is not top-notch, but they're all top-notch. The combination of the 3 abilities gave Ye Luo more means to torture the opponent's defense. This is what Pellegrini values. He needs a real demolitionist. Only in this way can it be possible to get out of the Bernabeu. His team also needs some changes. Maybe Yellow's addition, a catalyst for change in his team. Maybe this is the beginning of Malaga winning. Under constant failure, any head coach's first choice will seek personnel changes, which is the most direct way to change a team's decline. Such a genius doesn't need any time to adapt. He is a shark himself. How can he be afraid of the vast ocean? Pellegrini sat down and laughed. The pressure in La Liga is too great. Are you not afraid of crushing him? Maloska asked. Pellegrini was silent for a moment, and said, this is a big gamble. not only for us, but also for himself. If he can withstand such pressure, he has the possibility of becoming a superstar. What if you can't handle it? Pellegrini shrugged. With his talent, he can also play in La Liga, which is better than most professional players. In this world, the football industry is the largest sports industry chain. The football industry supports the most professional players in the world, but most of them are at the low end of the football professional league pyramid, and become the base to support the top 5 European leagues and the UEFA Champions League. Being able to play in La Liga, one of the 5 major leagues, is indeed at the top of the football industry chain, and earns more money than most professional players. Moloska turned his head to look at the teenager who was running towards the stands. On the field, his face changed slightly. This kid, what are you going to do again? Fuck. Awesome. Genius. Absolute genius. It's so dick. Has there ever been such a talented player in the history of Dragon Kingdom? In the media seats, the reporters were shocked by Ye Luo's goal just now. Ye Luo ran to the sidelines again, raised his hand, and pointed at the general manager of the Football Association on the rostrum. Snapped, everyone's face changed, someone turned to look back. All I saw was that the general manager of the Football Association's face was as dark as the bottom of a pot. He turned his head to look at the stands. Again, only to see the unruly young man proudly holding his face up, even facing the general manager of the Dragon National Football Association. This is so tall for a Dragon National Football boy who is only a little over 17 years old, an unattainable figure. He is still fearless. Hun Mei Leng is right. An Ning bends his waist and smashes his eyebrows to deal with the dignitaries. A reporter whispered, I and the others know what is called youthful spirit, what is called Li Taibai's style, and what is called uprightness. It's easy to break too hard, another reporter said suddenly. The two looked at each other. Fuck it, I don't believe that Program Yuan can do anything other than keep him from playing football in China. He's still the king of heaven. A chubby reporter spat. In the press box, some people regret, some are disdainful, some are thoughtful, and some have nothing to do with themselves. This is also a black and white, colorful circle. Program source gone. Someone whispered. The reporters turned their heads to look. All he saw was the back of the disgraced general manager of the Longhua Football Association. Ye Luo is also sorry. After only scoring 2 goals, he ran away and conceded. It really makes people draw their swords and look around at a loss. Now that the program source is gone, then Ye Luo looked at Li Tai. Li Tai was shocked. He is really afraid of Ye Luo now. You said, what are you doing to provoke this stupid young man? Li Tai sat on the coach's bench, as if trying to hide his body in the seat, but when Ye Luo passed by the sidelines, he was on the sidelines, his eyes fixed on Li Tai calmly. He doesn't say anything, did not do anything, eyes like torches, illuminate all the ghosts and ghosts so that there is nowhere to hide. Li Tai was restless, only thinking about the end of the game as soon as possible, but he knew. The end of this game is just the beginning of another earthquake. End of this chapter. Chapter 16. Fighting with the Football Association is a lot of fun. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 15. Fighting against the Football Association is a lot of fun. With Ye Luo scoring the second goal, the fighting spirit of the Longhua Olympic team is almost about to be crushed. Game number 3:04 minutes. After completing a strong 2-for-1 cooperation with his teammates in the middle, Ye Luo took a strong shot. The football was thrown by Wang Dalei, hit the post and bounced back to the penalty area, and was shot into the net by the striker. 3-0. Although Ye Luo didn't score the goal, %% of the credit for the goal should be credited to him. During the intermission, Bruno praised the team's performance in the dressing room. On the other side, Li Tai was furious. He was unprecedentedly angry and aggrieved. The dignified Dragon Country football star, the head coach of the Dragon Country Olympic Games, was humiliated under the attention of all the people. How can it be? What a shame. The only possibility to save a little bit of face now is that the Olympic team can play a role in this game, for example, equalize or reverse. Under Li Tai's instigation, the players of the Olympic team did show their anger on the court. They applied for 3 yellow cards in less than 10 minutes after the start of the second half, and even if they try so hard, it still didn't stop Ye Luo's goal. The game is 3 minutes. Malaga U18's complete a cross from the right flank. Ye Luo rushed into the Penalty area from outside the penalty area, leaped high, and headed the ball towards the goal above the head of Mei Fong, who is as tall as 190 centimeters. So close to the summit, Wang Dalei didn't even react. Mei Fong was still judging where the ball landed, but he just saw where the ball was. Ye Luo almost flew up and hit the ball towards the goal, 4-0. Ye Luo completed a hat trick. Header. Oh. It's beautiful. Ye Luo went forward from outside the penalty area, and then jumped high to complete the top. This goal is reminiscent of Ronaldo's goal in a Champions League match for Manchester United. Lu Jianhong was amazed. Extraordinary, in-cut shots, single-handed ball handling, cooperative awareness with teammates, and even headers. Ye Luo was displaying his offensive weapons to his heart's content. He knows, Pellegrini is watching somewhere at this moment. He must let Malaga's head coach know that he has enough strength to play for Malaga's first team. He has more than enough weapons to show on the court, and he can be a powerful offensive tactical piece for Malaga. This game is for Ye Luo. It was like a different kind of tryout, or an interview, the interview leading to La Liga. After scoring this goal, Ye Luo didn't provoke Li Tai anymore. Compared with the tickets to La Liga, these people are simply not worth mentioning. He opened his arms and embraced his teammates at the corner flag. The ones in this stand happen to be the fans of Longwa. Some of them are students studying in Spain, some are tourists visiting Spain, and some are overseas Chinese doing business and working locally. They had flags painted on their faces. They were originally fans cheering for the Olympic team, but at this moment, all of them are cheering for Ye Luo. It's beautiful. Come on. Ye Luo. Ye Luo. Give me an autograph. I will go to Malaga to watch your game. Fans chanted from the stands. Disobey the head coach's arrangement. Disorganized and undisciplined. A player expelled from the Olympic team. The labels were completely thrown out of their minds. Competitive sports, the winner is king. Strength speaks. The strength shown by Ye Luo is enough to prove that he can make the Olympic team. No, the national team play around him. Under these circumstances, if the head coach does not do this, then the head coach is incompetent, dereliction of duty, and stubborn. Ye Luo celebrates with his teammates after scoring a goal. He also raised his arms and applauded in the stands, thanking the fans of Longwa for their support. He pursed his lips. He once imagined that he could wear the national team jersey and represent his country in the World Cup. Just like now, after scoring a goal, he would celebrate the goal with his fans, celebrating victory. Yet now, all this can only be a fantasy. I have offended the Football Association severely, and with his behavior today, even if Program Yuan steps down, the new general manager of the Football Association may not let the national team call him again, because he didn't slap the face of Program Yuan alone. It is the Football Association, the face of the interest groups in the Longwa football circle. I have completely offended this group of profit seekers in the Longwa football circle, and they have occupied almost every ecological niche of Longwa football, from the Football Association, to coaches, to players, to some well-known reporters, etc., etc. Imagine, waiting for my future, there are constantly well-known journalists writing articles to blackmail me, and there are constantly trolls and black fans attacking me on the internet and in the media. Ye Luo thought of this, the corners of his mouth rose slightly. That's what's interesting. It's numerous fun to fight the destiny. Fighting with people is a lot of fun. Fighting with the FA is a lot of fun. After completing this goal, Ye Luo was replaced not long after, because the players of the Dragon Kingdom and the National Olympics are moving more and more. He was worried about Ye Luo's injury. He knew that there had been many vicious fouls in Longwa football. If Ye Luo gets hurt by these reckless, even deliberate fouls, that's really not worth the candle. After being substituted, the game became a bit boring. For the players of the Dragon Kingdom and the National Olympics, the man who brought them shame has been substituted, and now they are 4 goals behind. Even if you want to get it back, you are powerless. In addition, the Malaga U18 players all grew up from the youth training system of Spanish football, how to control the game, how to play the passing game. It's simply something that runs into the Spaniards' blood. Most of the last game time was consumed by the passing of Malaga's U18 players. To the game number 90 minutes, the camera lens simply doesn't pay much attention to the game. Ye Luo, who was sitting on the bench, became everyone's focus. In the press box, reporters have already turned on their mobile phones or portable DV players. They know that post-match interviews will definitely not be broadcast. If the post-match interview was broadcast in Longwa, it would most likely be a live broadcast accident, with Ye Luo's personality, who knows what he will say. Therefore, I want to interview Ye Luo after the game, and eat this wave of traffic. The best way is to record it yourself, then broadcast it on the internet. Compared to major TV stations, there are relatively few rules and regulations on the internet. With 3 minutes of stoppage time, there is no doubt that the best player in this game is Ye Luo, who scored a hat-trick, Lu Jianhong said. Immediately afterwards, he began a long speech, from the degradation of Longwa football to the current situation of Longwa football, worried and drowsy. Just when the audience couldn't help it, the referee blows 3 whistles. The game is over, accompanied by Lu Jianhong's voice, snapped. Soon, the national TV sports channel can't wait to turn off the live signal source. End of this chapter. Chapter 17, The Raging Storm of Public Opinion. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter number 16, The Turbulent Storm of Public Opinion. In fact, the cameras on the court locked onto Ye Luo immediately. At the same time, the referee also smiled and gave him a game ball. This is the privilege of the player who performed the hat-trick in the game. At the same time, when Ye Luo turned around holding the football, the reporters from Longwa rushed up like sharks smelling blood, and surrounded Ye Luo. The reporters were chattering, and they almost put all kinds of radio equipment in Ye Luo's mouth. Of course, Ye Luo would not hide from the reporters. Now the side mission of slapping the face of the FA has not yet announced the end of the mission. It shows that the post-match interview can also be part of the slap in the face. It's very simple. Li Tai wants me to help the high center forward in the team, but I don't want to. Ye Luo said. The reporters also fell silent, expecting to get more explosive news from Ye Luo's mouth. You have also seen the level of the high center forward. Not to mention me, he is far behind the rest of the team, but he can play the main force and occupy a main position. Why? What the hell can it be? Because he gave Li Tai the benefit of guiding him. Ye Luo became more and more angry. The reporters were dumbfounded. They also know about red envelopes, but like Ye Luo, he said it without hesitation. That was the first time. This young man in front of him, too bold. The reporters looked at each other, surprised, shocked. Of course, they are not shocked by such things as giving red envelopes. They were all tacit about this. They were surprised to have a player. A dissatisfied teenager actually spoke out with such a flat face. He didn't think about the consequences. Ye Luo spoke out without any scruples about what happened to him in the Olympic team. In fact, this is the treatment that many small players may receive. But before that, no one is as fresh as Ye Luo, or, no one can be like Ye Luo. There are channels for sound. Ye Luo's voice became louder and louder, in the ears of reporters. It's really deafening, but can these words be spread in the formal media? No. Because no media dared to report this. Ye Luo looked at one of the young reporters. Ye Luo has sharp eyes, and just now saw the reporter echoing his words. Hello, I watched your video, right? Zhong Daong, an intern reporter of South China Sports Daily, was taken aback for a moment. As a trainee reporter, he didn't have any contacts in the group, and he didn't get any inside information from acquaintances like old international players and team leaders like those old reporters, so he is almost already thinking about leaving. Yes. Great, can you give me a copy of what you just recorded? Ye Luo smiled. Coco. Zhong Daong shot it with his mobile phone. The Nangua Sports Daily is also a print media. There is no TV media channel. The videos he took are just for viewing while writing, not much use either. Come and add me a V-letter, remember to send me later. Ye Luo stretched out his hand and added his V-letter friend on Zhong Daong's mobile phone. His phone is in the locker room. The envious eyes of the surrounding reporters turned green. This is the private V-letter of the #1 football team in the future. Being able to add his WeChat is enough to get a job in any Longwa sports media, and they have to be polite. What is a network of people? This is the network. Zhong Daong looks simple and honest, but he is not stupid, plus Ye Luo's WeChat. This is the luckiest thing in his future career. This is likely to profoundly change his career as a journalist. Under the complicated eyes of the reporters, Ye Luo, who was interviewed, returned to the player channel, and this time, a reporter has already uploaded this part of Ye Luo's post-match interview with a trumpet to Bibo, Mapu, Tieba, and various button groups. The speed of the spread of the internet is unimaginable. Soon, this storm of public opinion against the Football Association is brewing on the internet. The strength Ye Luo showed in this game is enough to prove that his level is far above the players of these Olympic teams, but why was he fired? Disobey the coach's tactical arrangement. Such a player should be the absolute core. If the coach's arrangement is unreasonable, shouldn't the players be angry? Fans are exceptionally tolerant of geniuses. For a while, aggressive, the storm of public opinion that was originally aimed at Ye Luo suddenly became 10 times, 100 times stronger, flocked to the FA, flocked to Li Tai, a raging storm swept across the internet, online, the fans were angry, using keys as knives to vent their anger. Ye Luo also turned on the system immediately after returning to the locker room. Ding! The side task, slapping the face of the Dragon Country Football Association. The task is completed with a score of A, task reward, A-level physical medal *1, fusion point, 6 points. Ding! Your main task, scoring the first goal in an official game, has been completed, and you will get the task rewards, fusion point *2, C-level random gift box *2. Ye Luo first saw the A-level physical medal, A-level physique medal, physique +5, reducing the possibility of injury. Good stuff. Of course Ye Luo knew that his way of playing football attracted hatred. So it is best to make your physique more durable, equip it immediately. 2 C-level random gift boxes were also opened, obtain 2 C-level items respectively, bare leg guards, C-level props, immune to the damage of the opponent's defensive action that caused you to be injured once. After the effect is activated, the bare leg guards can only be used as ordinary leg guards. It is equivalent to a one-time prop. That's not too bad. Physical recovery potion, restores a certain level of physical fitness after use. Medicine. It's not a stimulant, is it? Ye Luo froze for a moment. The host can rest assured that all the potions rewarded by the system will not contain any stimulant ingredients. That I believe in you. At most, it may not be detected by current technology, when I don't know yet. Now sprinting and swimming are high-tech duels. Ye Luo complained in his heart. Just now, the main task of the system has been refreshed. Ding! You have obtained the main task. Enter the first team starting list. System reward, fusion point *3, class B random treasure chest *1. The starting list. Ye Luo couldn't help but clicked his lips. It is not difficult to conquer Pellegrini into the starting list. The difficult thing is to start the next game, because the next game of the first team is against Real Madrid. Facing such an opponent, it takes a lot of courage to put a player transferred from the youth team into the starting list, but this is something that the coach needs to consider. What Ye Luo has to do, just continue to improve your own strength. Fusion points remaining, 9. Each template can take a small step forward. Fusion. On the data panel, fusion progress of 3 SS level templates, 36%. Reposted. The last chapter was hung up for reasons you understand. End of this chapter. Chapter 18 Professional Contracts of Sufficient Weight. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter number 17, A Professional Contract with Sufficient Weight. At the other side, Li Tai was sprayed bloody by the program source, but Li Tai is one of his own after all. Therefore, his position as the head coach of the Olympic team has not been removed, and because Ye Luo's incident had too much influence. It seems that not many people paid attention to the fact that the Olympic team was massacred 4-0 in the case of big and small, facing doubts from public opinion. The Football Association has started its own traditional art, being a turtle, just anyway. Neither came forward to respond. The wind of public opinion goes and goes quickly. The FA has experience with this. Not every time the national team loses is like this. Time will equalize everything. Program sources are pretty confident about it, but would he be content with it? Of course not. As this matter gradually subsided in the field of public opinion, there have been many articles in the media that blatantly criticize the truth. For example, Ma Deshine of the Football News is the official pen of the Football Association. As long as there is no national team game, the FA's counterattack, although late, arrived. Malaga first team. 3 days later, Ye Luo was standing at the gate of the first team's training base. He knew that when he came to the first team this time, he was likely to get the chance to play. In the next game against Real Madrid, Ye Luo has a high probability of playing, but for Ye Luo, his goal is to win the first place. Now the team's two main forwards are injured, the team's important attacker, Uruguay striker Sebastian Fernandez and local winger Luke are both absent due to injuries. The only forwards available for this game are Moroccan veteran Baha and Portuguese player Edinho, who is also over years old, in other words. Ye Luo's competitors are two veteran players who are over years old. In fact, as long as his performance does not decline, it is inevitable to get the chance to play, because it is impossible for the Moroccan veteran Baha to persist in 9 or 10 minutes of high-intensity games. This is too difficult for this veteran, so even if Ye Luo does not start the game, there is still a great chance of coming off the bench. But Ye Luo didn't come for the substitute, he's coming to compete for the main force. With this belief, he walked into the training base. He was greeted in the dressing room by the number 1 goalkeeper and captain of the team, Francisco Arnaud. The homegrown player has been with Malaga for a decade since joining from Barcelona in 2000, it's an absolute credit to the team. He is also currently the leader of Malaga's dressing room. Ye Luo, right? The head coach has already told me, come with me. Arnaud led Ye Luo into the locker room, introduced to the first team players. It's FIFA International Match Day, but because Malaga is not a wealthy family, there are not many international players in the team. Except for the departure of Danish international Chris and Ghana international Abai, Malaga, which is mainly composed of players from Spain and Portugal next door, is different. International players, this is a civilian team with no stars. However, the Spanish media generally predicted this team will change a lot in this winter window, because Prince Abdullah Al Thani, who wears a white cloth on his head, has completed the acquisition of the team last month. It is a pity for the Malaga media, the summer transfer window was over by then. So this petrodollar-wielding clique prince didn't have a chance to show his skills, but brought a famous coach to the team. Last season's Real Madrid coach Manuel Pellegrini. Predictably, in this winter transfer window, Malaga has the opportunity to show their talents in the transfer market and introduce some powerful players. But now Pellegrini can only use this mediocre lineup to play in La Liga. Malaga fans will need to be patient a little bit, but even Malaga's first-team players looked rather mediocre to the media and fans. He was also very cold when facing Ye Luo. If you have a good attitude, you can even say hello with a slight smile. Most just nodded slightly. That's kind of friendly, others just ignore it. This is also normal. They see a lot of players from the youth teams being promoted to the first team. But the vast majority of them failed to gain a foothold in the first team, mostly just follow along to see the world. Not to mention, the team is not doing well, many rounds without victory, deep in the relegation zone. These circumstances made the atmosphere in Malaga's dressing room very depressing. In addition, almost everyone is destined to be slaughtered in the next game, if the players can still play heartlessly now. That's not taking the team's performance seriously, no matter what you think in your heart. Anyway, the atmosphere in Malaga's locker room is not very active now. Everyone looked very serious. It seems that he is a little worried about the fate of the team. In fact, there is no lack of worry about his own future. The team was bought by the oil prince. Most of them will probably be sold by the team, right? Perhaps many players will lose their jobs during the winter window. Team captain Francisco Arnaud doesn't have to worry about being sold. On the one hand, he has decided to retire at the end of this season. The goalkeeper is interested. It's not just that everyone is Van der Sar, and he can transfer to Manchester United in his 30s for a second spring. This is your wardrobe. Arnaud took Ye Luo to a corner of the dressing room. He pointed to the cabinet above and said, the numbers on the jersey are huge. 41 number. At first glance, it is the number of the youth team players because the registration number of the La Liga first team can only be from 1 to 25. And those who exceed 25 are the team's youth training players. As a youth team player, of course he is not qualified to choose the jersey number. Ye Luo didn't care either. The number or something is not a problem for him to consider for the time being. Impress the head coach through training first, and then get the chance to start. Ye Luo walked to his place and put on his training shoes and jersey. Then they walked to the training ground under the leadership of Captain Arnaud. The team's assistant coach Maloska led the training. Ye Luo looked around, but did not see the shadow of Coach Pellegrini. But what he didn't expect was, the head coach is standing by the window of an office facing the stadium in the administrative office building of the team. Beside him is the team owner Abu, who has the words "rich man" written all over his body. Dula Arzani, and the team's general manager Fernando Sanz. The power of the head coach of a La Liga team is generally limited to the first team, and the person in charge of club management is usually the general manager of the team, or simply the chairman himself. Is he the Ye Luo you mentioned? That the team owner craned his neck curiously, and saw the Chinese teenager Ye Luo on the field in the distance at a glance. The biggest treasure of the youth academy, comparable to the genius of Messi at the same age, that the general manager of the team, Fernando Sanz, had doubts in his tone. It is suspected that coach Manuel Pellegrini was joking, but judging by his tone and expression, it didn't look like he was joking at all. Of course I'm not joking, gentlemen. I think Malaga should try their best to keep him and give him a professional contract with enough weight, otherwise I can't guarantee that Malaga can keep him this season. End of this chapter. Chapter 19 First Team, Core Treatment. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 18, The First Team, The Core Treatment. Team owner Abdullah Arthani and general manager Fernando Sanz looked at each other. Is there that exaggeration, comparable to Messi of the same age? Doesn't that mean that the team has a talent with golden ball potential? What a joke, but the two are not surprised, because Messi is so hot now. Basically, a little genius will be dubbed XX Messi. For example, what about Austrian Messi? What about Korean Messi? What about Egyptian Messi, and so on? But it doesn't mean that your name is XX Messi and you are Messi. Who is Messi? That is the successor of the ball king handpicked by the Argentine ball king Maradona. This is one or two geniuses that only emerge in half a century. How could it appear casually? So both thought it was Pellegrini's exaggeration. The general manager of the team, Fernando Sanz, cleared his voice and said, "Luis, I think we should wait until he has played at least one professional league game. Many talents who have made great achievements in the youth training camp will not work well in the first team, so it's normal for Fernando Sanz to say that." Pellegrini shrugged. He has fulfilled his responsibilities as a head coach. Since the team's top management thinks they need to be more cautious, Pellegrini can't interfere, and the next game is against Real Madrid. If Ye Luo can perform well in this game, it will be regarded as a fame. When Malaga wants to keep Ye Luo, it may not be as simple as a simple professional contract. On the training ground, Ye Luo swayed freely. With the integration of the templates, Ye Luo's control over the football also developed. The three basic skills of passing, leading, and shooting players have all performed quite solidly. In terms of physical condition, his daring speed and explosive power made the players of the first team look sideways. As the training progresses, the players of the first team began to pay more attention to Ye Luo. On the football field, only strength will win respect, and in the group confrontation in the afternoon, Ye Luo's performance stunned the players of the first team. They had never seen such a performance from a player who had just been promoted from the youth academy. His talent cannot be concealed at all, and it overflows directly. And the team's two main central defenders, the two local players, Manu Torres and Ivan Gonzalez, don't have much of the previous priority mentality at this time. When Manu Torres once again struggled to shovel Ye Luo out of the bottom line, he was in a hurry. Get angry at your partner. Stick to him, don't let him pass so easily. Ivan Gonzalez was also a little annoyed by the past, and he replied directly, "You try it? Is this kid so easy to stick to?" The two teams' main central defenders almost quarreled on the court. Have to say, Ye Luo's way of playing football does have a pull hatred. In fact, the performance of both of them has been quite good. At least Ye Luo was a little surprised. If it was in the youth team, Ye Luo would have gotten whatever he wanted and scored more than one goal. The strength and ability of the first team and La Liga are indeed not comparable to the youth teams. Ye Luo was excited. The confrontation with the team's two main central defenders made him feel that he can realize his potential faster, that is, he can adapt, use, and grasp his current potential faster. La Liga level central defender, it is much stronger than the youth league. If you want to score goals in front of the central defenders in La Liga, it is not as easy as facing the youth team, but that's the fun. Ye Luo stood in the penalty area, concentrating all his attention on the playing field. This is his advantage. His game is very focused and he has a very strong desire to attack the goal. 3SS level templates are a step up in technology. And on a spiritual level, this template doesn't help much. In fact, there are many players who are technically talented, but to be able to fully develop one's potential in the end, one must have a strong spiritual belief. In this area, Ye Luo happens to have that kind of strong competitive spirit and desire to score goals. He was surrounded by defenders as if there were no chances, however. When the corner kick was taken, Ye Luo suddenly withdrew from the small penalty area to the big penalty area line. This time the corner kick line just flew in this direction, facing the incoming ball. Ye Luo raised his foot directly, volley, shoot. The football suddenly changed direction and hit the lower edge of the crossbar and bounced into the goal. Oh, beautiful, that many players are cheering. This is indeed a very beautiful goal. This kid is definitely a fierce man. So amazing. Sooner or later he will become a big star. That for a while, everyone rushed up one after another, patting Ye Luo's shoulders and hair to celebrate the goal, and after the first day of training, Ye Luo put on the red vest that symbolized the main force. There are still 2 weeks before the trip to the Bernabeu, so, Pellegrini had time to let Yellow integrate into the team as soon as possible, and with the observation of Ye Luo, and the recognition of Ye Luo's strength by the first-team players, Pellegrini began to practice counterattack tactics centered on Yellow. Of course, Pellegrini will not whimsically play against Real Madrid at the Bernabeu, or delusional to play against Real Madrid with the strength of Malaga, although Real Madrid lost 1-5 in one round, but their opponent is Barcelona, now known as the Cosmic Team. For a small shrimp like Malaga, facing this football giant at Real Madrid's home court, it is more economical to honestly defend and counterattack. So Pellegrini pinned Malaga's hopes of scoring goals on Yellow. He designed a 442 formation for this game. The striker partnering with Ye Luo in the frontcourt is Portuguese center Edinho, who is 180 centimeters tall, is very strong and can serve as a frontcourt fulcrum to provide support for Ye Luo. At the same time, Edinho will also participate in defense as the team's first line of defense. As for Ye Luo, his task is to waiting for the opportunity to counterattack. Once the backcourt steals the ball, no matter who gets the ball, they must come to Ye Luo immediately. Once Ye Luo has the opportunity to counterattack with the ball, take Ye Luo's personal abilities shown in the past 2 days, facing Real Madrid's defenders one-on-one, he definitely has the advantage of speed, and he holds the ball very steadily and has good technique. The important thing is to have a strong ability to seize opportunities. This will ensure Malaga's counterattack efficiency. If you can complete 1 or 2 effective counterattacks, it is not a fantasy to get out of the Bernabeu in this game. End of this chapter. Chapter 20. Ye Tiancai trains as the core, and reporter Ma offers advice to coax the FA. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 19. Ye Tiancai trained as the core, and reporter Ma offered advice to coax the FA. Just when Ye Luo kept his ears to the outside world and concentrated on training as the core, domestic, the public opinion caused by Ye Luo's slap in the face of the Football Association gradually subsided. On the internet, some rumors, true and false, began to appear around Ye Luo. What is more lethal is the collection of some mistakes made by Ye Luo before some editing, and there are many Lizhonk articles appearing. The more influential article was written by an account whose ID is Maguan Football. He first analyzed Ye Luo's performance in the Malaga youth team against the Olympic team, made a few gifs, and praised Ye Luo's good state. Then he changed his writing and said, "This is undoubtedly the masterpiece of Ye Luo's football career." Perhaps with the support of his anger value, he played a new high game in his career. Then the topic began to lead to Ye Luo's previous performance in the game. To be honest, although Ye Luo's performance in the previous competition was not bad, it could even be considered excellent, but compared with his explosive performance this time, it really looks mediocre, and as long as he wants to, no matter who he is, he can cut a collection of mistakes. Under the influence of this influential football self-media Maguan Football on the internet, a lot of speeches appeared. Actually, it's okay to perform well in a game, especially in this situation. The explosive seed supported by the anger value. But is what Ye Luo said true? Li Tai didn't leave get out of class either. It is said that he will be held accountable for spreading rumors. Damn, who knows if it's true or not. I think Ye Luo's performance is not an occasional explosion. You can see the way he scores goals and his extraordinary stoppage. The ball blind likes to watch these. That's right, whoever surpasses others now is passing the ball. Anyone who knows how to play football knows that if you pass others at every turn, you don't know how to play football. A time, the water in the country is muddy. At the football news headquarters, the editor-in-chief Ma Dexin looked at the remarks on the internet and smiled triumphantly. Mr. Ma, that kid is really capable. If we do this, we will commit suicide. A thin young man with glasses and greasy hair raised his head. Said with bloodshot eyes, I don't know how much overtime I have worked in front of the computer, and how many keyboard warriors I have played against. You are full of rhetoric. You want to take the postgraduate entrance examination? The bald Ma Dexin squinted at his assistant, and said with a sneer, the higher-ups asked him to engage him. This kid has offended a big shot. How can he just do that? Comfortably let go. Look, this is just the beginning. This kid is only a player in the youth team. There are basically no opportunities for him to show his face. When he can play in the first team and get a little bit of fame. He will not become a big trader in China. A trader? I don't even have a surname of Ma. Ma Dexin said with a cold snort, with this persona, so what if you play well? Offended people, don't even think about making domestic money. Too rigid and easy to break, too rigid and easy to break. Ma Dexin drew the sign of the cross on his chest. Umitba, bless you, boy, it's not that I'm going to mess with you, but the higher-ups are going to mess with you. Just don't blame me in the future. President Ma, speaking of which, Malaga will face Real Madrid in the next game, but that kid is U18. President Ma. Look. Look. The greasy-haired young man pointed at the computer screen and trembled. What's going on? Ma Dexin leaned over. Isn't this the roster for this game? Gah. Ma Dexin almost lost his temper. He has already planned a 3-step plan to completely blacken Ye Luo into ashes. As a result, these 3 steps only took half a step. It doesn't seem to work, because Ye Luo actually appeared on the squad for Malaga's away game against Real Madrid. 41, YLUO, this name is too recognizable among the names of Latin fans, and this big number also clearly showed Ye Luo's identity. He was promoted to the first team by the Malaga youth team. This. How is this possible? Ma Dexin was stunned again and again. President Ma, what should we do? Are we going to die before we finish our mission? Calm down. The Mediterranean Sea above the horse's new head started to sweat. It may be that the brain needs to dissipate heat due to its high-speed operation. Just now, Ma's new phone rang. Mr. Cheng, hey. Hey. I saw it. It's just on the big list. Don't worry. Ma Dexin picked up the phone, grinned and said while bending over. That's right, it's just for the big roster. I'm sure you won't be able to play. You think, who is the opponent? Real Madrid. You have heard of the team, such a big team. Can the kid have a chance to play? He is just a small U18 player. Over the phone, the source of the program frowned. Standing beside him is Li Tai, the head coach of the Olympic team. He looked at Li Tai with a look of inquiry in his eyes. Li Tai nodded quickly, indicating that Ma Dexin was right. A young player in the youth academy, there is no need to worry about him playing, but that alone made the big list. It can be predicted that the fans will definitely be shocked. By the time, the public opinion that was finally suppressed, it's about to boil again. Even if he doesn't show up, the impact of this matter is not trivial. We must find a way to suppress it. Program Yuan said with a frown. Over the phone, Ma Dexin frowned, pressed down. Is it that stressful? Do you know how many fans Real Madrid have in China? If we simply talk about the number of fans in China, Real Madrid is definitely in the top 3, and it's still the first thing to keep. The 2 giants who can compete with them are Barcelona and Manchester United. These tens of thousands of Real Madrid fans will definitely watch the game, and they will definitely find out the names on the big list, and you can't press the media to stop reporting this kind of thing. Cheng boss, this matter cannot be suppressed, but we can bring disaster to the east. A wicked smile appeared on the corner of Ma Xinxin's mouth. Bringing the water to the east? How? Asked the program source on the other end of the phone. This is the first time this kid has entered the big list, and he is still facing a team like Real Madrid, so the probability of playing is almost zero. Therefore, we can let people say that his qualifications for the big list were bought. Buy. Can this also be sold? Yes. Why can't? Ma Dexin said, have you ever heard that some agents in China specialize in this business, operating small players to go abroad, buying a European team's roster, and even playing games? Qualifications, then the country can brag about it, inflate the value of the player, and then sell it to a domestic team at a high price. Did you buy this kid's big list? It's not important. The source of the program nodded in satisfaction. Very good. You must pay attention to the influence of public opinion. If you work in the media, you should find a way to guide it. Okay, just look at it. Ma Dexin nodded and bowed. End of this chapter.